The charm? Alright guys, third time is the charm. This is the third time I'm trying to make this fucking video because the microphone on my headphones keep turning off. I guess if there's no sound playing, they go to sleep at some point or something. I don't know. It's really fucking annoying. So I switched to this microphone and we'll see. Hopefully this one doesn't go to sleep. Anyway, so following what Zepla was saying in the video, which I tried to make a video earlier about, and the reason she quit WoW is basically because she felt alone, lonely, and things like that. She couldn't like play the game, like it wasn't the social environment that it was for her anymore. I really cannot relate to that. Like my reason for not playing WoW is really different. And it doesn't even really have anything to do with the systems or anything like that. Like to an extent a bit, yeah, but overall it's something else that I realized when I like right before I quit, and that's the reason I quit. But anyways, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've been playing, like, about my character. I've been playing WoW since TBC. That was a private servant. Then retail was starting from the Wrath of the Lich King, and even in TBC when I was raiding, I really didn't have fun, given that like we didn't really do much as a raid. Like we did some Karazhan, then we killed I think only the first boss in Black Temple, and after that was just like trash farming, so it wasn't like anything impressive. In Wrath of the Lich King, I only did ICC, and in the guild that I was in, we only managed to get to heroic vampire boss, whatever her name is, after the three princes. The vampire queen, forgot her name completely, and we couldn't kill her. And at that point I realized that's like the reason I wasn't enjoying raiding, that's what I thought at that time, was because you get this one or two guys that just don't understand mechanics after like 30 wipes of seeing the same mechanic, and they just kill the whole raid, and you're like, bro, like this is not really fun for me. It's like I understood these mechanics way before, and I'm not saying I'm an amazing player or whatever, but at least I understand the mechanics, and it's like try not to make the dumbest mistakes. But it's like the greed of DPS sometimes and things like that. I get it, like, but it's really annoying when it's the same person making similar mistakes, and like, they just, you hope for the RNG to not hit them with a mechanic. Like that's not fun for me. Anyways, after ICC, that's after Wrath of Lich King, really, I did stop caring about the lore of the world all that much. The lore of Cataclysm, I really didn't give two shits about. The lore of Mist, I didn't give two shits about. WoD was kinda okay, but I wasn't really excited about because I didn't really care about the orcs. And only in Hellfire Citadel, leading into Legion, including Legion, up until TOS, is when I actually cared about the lore again, because again, was the Legion was something that's like it's like an end of a story kind of from Warcraft 3, and I guess I felt that's like the story since Warcraft 3, and anything that's related to it, anything that wasn't related to it, was not really that good. Only like the stuff that I found from Warcraft 3 and the stuff that finished it was like any good and like worth my time as far as lore goes. Shadowlands is not included in that because Shadowlands is a sham of Warcraft 3. Like they're trying to use nostalgia to make you care about the world, but honestly, like you don't. The characters are not the characters, just have the same name and similar features, but like they're not the characters that like you grew up on. So the story was not even captivating to me anymore. Anyways, so I wasn't rating anything serious. Cataclysm, Cataclysm and Mist, I pretty much skipped completely. I played very tiny bit. Mist, I played like only at the end. In WoD, I was a raid leader for Highmall, mythic progression for my guild, and then I realized, okay, I don't like raid leading. I thought like maybe if I raid lead, these mistakes won't happen. No, they would still happen. Like people who are bad will always be bad regardless of the circumstances, so that wasn't really fun. Yeah, and then I took a break during Mythic Prog of Blackrock Foundry, came back towards the end of Hellfire Citadel. My guild pretty much carried me through the AOTC, Literally just like, we have a spot, we're on the last boss, do you want? I'm like, yeah, fuck it, whatever, I'll get the mount, I don't give a shit. So I got a free free AOTC carry, that was nice. And then in Legion, I was playing with them up until Mythic Helia. On Mythic Helia, it was taking way too long, and I just like. By the way, we didn't even like get cutting edge on Emerald Nightmare, which is like one of the easiest fucking raids. I don't even think we got through. No, we got through the spider boss. I think we didn't get through the dragons. Um, and again, like Mythic raiding in WoW, like was just not fun overall, because you barely kill a new boss every 3 weeks in those guilds. In like normal guilds, they're like coordinated, like they're friendly and they're trying. But it's like it literally takes 1 or 2 players that are not trying, and your whole guild goes to shit. And the problem is, replacing them is also really hard, because finding players for Mythic Prog during Prog is like extremely fucking hard. And also, like, everyone became friends and they feel awful kicking people, and it's like, yeah, I get it, but it's like it's ruining the fun for everyone else. Like, many of our players quit the guild because they were skilled enough to clear the bosses, but like the group was just not it. The tank was horrible. She eventually got offended and left because like people kept having complaints to her. It's like, yeah, no shit, like you're fucking bad. It is what it is. Anyways, so that's like, I'd never found the raids really fun. I never really cared about who was in my team, if unless they're like I care if they're useless because it ruins my fun, and I care if they're good because that makes it so we can kill stuff. But as far as like who they are, I didn't give a shit. Like I have a few friends that I met in the game. Two of them were actually from each one was from a different guild, and we literally just like did some mythic pluses together in arenas on our free time, and like we just chill. And I don't care if we're doing high content or not. And I don't think, when you have friends like that where you're just like, you don't care what content you do, I don't think it matters which game you play at that point. It's like you're just playing with your friends. For all you care, you can just chill in Discord and talk, and like that would be the same as doing anything really. So friends is really not what kept me in the game, because like you can just play with them, anything else, or you can just chill and talk to them, and like it doesn't matter. So a game was not really fun at that point as well. Then during and then I started noticing that like during WoD in the middle I took a break. During Legion, during Mythic Helia I took a break. TOS was probably, well, Antorus was the last thing I did, but during TOS I had to switch guilds because my guild decided to ninja loot the tier shoulders for Paladin, gave it to the other Paladin who already had tier shoulders, just slightly lower item levels, so that felt great. So I was like, yeah, fuck these guys, and I went and I did completely different. Well, on their prog night, I progged with a different guild, and we killed the boss that they were progging on way before them. I don't even think they killed it that night. So yeah, fuck those guys. You don't ninja loot my fucking tier set 4-piece, okay? For no reason, by the way. It's a funny story. Anyways, so during Antorus, this is when like I realized why I don't even want to do mythic raiding. What happened was we were stuck on Mythic Imonar for like 3 or 4 weeks at that point. While doing prog on Mythic Imonar, we were doing heroic clears every week in a smaller group, alt runs, stuff like that, like maybe 8 to 11 people, something like that, usually 11. And what happened was Ionar dropped my tier chest piece with Titan Forge to like 985 or whatever the max item level was. I don't know, 965, 985. I'm pretty sure it was 985. And I also might have been a socket. Either way, it was my best in slot chest. Best in slot chest. And that made me kind of think, like, why am I even bothering doing Mythic Raid when the chances of me getting loot are extremely low, because even if you kill a boss, Like the chances that the loot that drops is for you is extremely fucking low. Even if it is for you, you have competition for that loot from 20 people. Meanwhile, you can do, and also it takes 9 hours out of your week. Meanwhile, you do heroic 1.5 to 2 hours of your time. You get the items a lot more likely, and it can Titan Forge to like the best in slot by far. So I didn't do any mythic raiding since until basically Shadowlands. And in Shadowlands, we did the mythic Nathria. We killed all the bosses except the last one. So okay, guild is not too bad, right? And the only reason it took us, we couldn't kill the last boss because we killed generals 1 week before the update. And the reason it took so long is because people were panicking. I'm not gonna name anyone, obviously it doesn't matter, but there were 2 people specifically that kept making the same mistake over and over, and they literally were panicking. Like the reason they made the mistakes because they panicked. So that means they were not expecting the mechanic to land on them. So when we killed the boss finally, it wasn't even a sense of accomplishment. It was a sense of like, we finally got the RNG that doesn't hit these 2 people with these mechanics at the crucial time. That's pretty much what it was. That doesn't feel good to me. And I got sick and tired being held by 1 or 2 people in a raid. And I was like, you know what? Like this is bullshit. So raiding was not fun. But I still raided a bit. I was like, fuck it, whatever. Like maybe they'll replace them for the next year. And they did actually. Well, I wasn't there anymore because I quit at that point. But basically what happened was during for Mythic Chains of Domination, my guild asked me to switch from Paladin to Demon Hunter. And I was totally fine with it. Like I like playing the Demon Hunter, it's actually pretty fun. Because, and the reason they asked me to is because our Demon Hunter tank switched to Monk, our Monk switched to Mage, because our Mage switched to something else, because the something else that we needed we didn't have. So like we made a lot of different adjustments, and then I was like, okay, fuck it, you don't want the red Paladin, kind of understandable, I'll go DH. And as I was playing my DH, I realized that's like, I really don't care about this game anymore. The only thing that kept me playing was my Paladin. And because I couldn't play my Paladin, I didn't even want to log into the game. Now, at first, obviously it wasn't like an immediate realization. What happened was, I tried to maintain my Paladin to be on a similar playing field as my Demon Hunter. And I quickly realized it's possible, but it takes way too much time. The quadruple Torghast runs, okay, unless it's a new Torghast that like has a level up. So I have to do 6 Torghasts times 2 basically to advance my alts, my alt to do the same level, which is like, I think it was 12 at that time, and I was, or 11, and I was on 8. So from 8 I had to go, I think it was 12. From 8 I had to go to 12 on 2 different characters. That's a pain in the ass. Then every week I would have to do 4 rounds of Torghast. I would have to do my weekly story quests on each character. 10 mythic plus 15s on each character. And again, this is only 2 characters. And my Paladin couldn't even mythic raid, so I had to do extra work to try and keep up with the item level, which eventually you really can't, because mythic gear is just gonna be much higher and much faster. And I realized that's like, man, I'm like spending so much time just trying to maintain my Paladin to be relevant, and for what? I don't even get to play it in the content that is relevant for what I'm trying to do. And it's like, why am I even playing my Paladin at this point? It makes no sense for me to play my Paladin because I can't do anything with it. And like I was enjoying the Demon Hunter, sure, but it wasn't my Paladin. I have a story with my Paladin, man. I've been playing a Paladin since TBC. This specific Paladin has been a continuation of different Paladins since Wrath of the Lich King, because I moved servers and stuff like that. In Legion I had 3 different Paladins for each spec because of how artifact power was and things like that. So it's like, but it felt like the soul of each Paladin moved on to the next Paladin I was playing. So this last iteration of Paladin was really the cultivation of all my Paladins together and all their stories combined, and felt like I only had a connection to my Paladin. So as soon as I stopped playing my Paladin, I realized that I just don't care about WoW. And I know I don't wish, and like, I just don't want to play the game anymore because there's like nothing for me to do. Right now, what you see in the background is literally what I do with WoW right now. I PoE farm in TOS normal to buy tokens, so I don't have to give Blizzard my money whenever there's something that I wanna buy. What I wanna buy from them. So it's like the new Diablo, I'll buy with the tokens. The what's it called? The new World of Warcraft, if I wanna play it, I'll buy with the tokens. They're not getting my money because honestly, I don't think they deserve my money at this point. There's like, I don't feel like the game is worth my time. Literally the only thing that is worth my time is my Paladin, and I don't think that's a good thing. As much as like, yeah, you wanna like your character, but it's like that's not the only thing you should care about, right? It just doesn't. It just doesn't feel good overall. So yeah. So after I quit, never looked back. Haven't want like didn't want to play it ever since I came to the realization of why I was playing, why I was coming back to the game, and I understood that it's because of my Paladin. I just stopped wanting to play the game. It really doesn't even make sense. The amount of time it takes to play my character, and the investment I have to do in order to like make my character even slightly relevant is just, it's just not it. It's not why I played World of Warcraft to begin with. When I started playing World of Warcraft, it was literally like continuation of Warcraft 3 for me. It was the massive story, the conclusion of that story, the sense of adventure that it gave me at that point. And I'm not expecting WoW to give the sense of adventure to anyone at any point. I don't think anyone cares about the sense of adventure anymore. Everyone's just rushing to max level to do the max level content, which in my opinion is just a hamster wheel. Which is like another reason to that I don't want to play the game. I just feel like I'm constantly running on a hamster wheel, and that's again not very fun. So yeah, so there's no like sense of like a social aspect to quitting this game. It was just, there's absolutely nothing that keeps me in this game anymore. Yeah, just a pixelated imitation of what my story in the World of Warcraft was. And the way I see it, the story ended for my character for the most part. Nothing for me to do on it anymore. Nothing specific for my Paladin to feel accomplished with. Like, I would say Artifact, the Mage Tower, probably the last thing I really enjoyed on my Paladin, and that was again because it was like the Ashbringer, which is like the weapon that you wanted as a Paladin since Classic, basically, from the Corrupt Ashbringer to the regular Ashbringer. And we got it, and we got like more customization for it than we ever did for any other weapon. And I don't know why Blizzard's not doing more of these things. Certain armors that could be armors or weapons that are like that have a story of their own and would be really cool to have. But either way, like that's like I'm digressing. This is not really like what this is about. I don't care about giving suggestions. I really don't care if the game burns or it survives. At this point, I just don't care about the game. For me, the game, it's like game over when it comes to Warcraft. And I don't even know if I'll give Dragonflight a shot. I have massive doubts that it's gonna be friendly to playing multiple classes. Is it more friendly than it is now? Yeah, but it's like, is it gonna be actually friendly? Very unlikely. Is the gear gonna be easier to get? Very unlikely. Is it gonna be rewarding to get the gear? Very unlikely. Like, there's so many problems with the game that it's like, I just don't want to bother. It feels like just a waste of time for no reason. There's no reason to do the hardcore raids. They're too hard for too many people. You feel punished for bad players, not for your lack of skill. Mythic Plus is boring. It's just a treadmill. You can't decide which dungeon to do. Like if you want to farm a trinket in a certain dungeon, you can't keep getting that dungeon on a plus 15. You have to hunt for it. You have to hope you get invited, or you just have to like keep succeeding your key and then dropping it to the level you want. Like, why all this hassle? Makes no sense. Just fucking let me target what I want and that's it. The game is extremely unrewarding, and that's just like extra things that make me not want to play it. Like, even if, let's say, the paladin, I would say, is the number one reason that I quit. Like, I just like I'm not like it is what it is. The game itself is just not fun. Like, if I quit because I can't play my paladin, that means the game itself can't even like draw me in anymore. The game itself has nothing to offer. It's just it's a massive chore. World of Chorecraft, really, at this point. Everything that I did in the game felt like a chore. Like I'm just running on a treadmill for no reason. Um, and yeah, that's why I doubt I'll ever play WoW again. Um, and the thing is, not gonna lie, I think I quit at one of the best times because I'm really enjoying Final Fantasy right now. But I can guarantee that if I stop playing WoW and tried Final Fantasy, any like in any earlier expansion before Shadowbringers, I would probably hate Final Fantasy 2 because pre Shadowbringers, any class, any job that I tried just felt not complete. And like pre level 71, basically, and 71 felt like a lot of jobs become more complete, and they felt complete ever since. And they didn't do that many changes, just add some abilities. So if I played during Heaven's Ward or Stormblood, I would probably never play Final Fantasy again. So I'm actually really glad I quit when I did and I changed to Final Fantasy when I did. But yeah, that's my story, and that's the reason I just don't care about WoW anymore. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who have a very similar experience. Like maybe the social aspect kept you in the game. I never felt like the social aspect of the game was really that important, aside from like maybe during Lich King or whatever. But it's like social aspect, like even in Final Fantasy, social aspect doesn't really keep me in the game. It's like if I want to be social, I'll be social. It's not really that like that important, I think, because like it's so easy to be social and find people to talk to. So I can't find that as a draw. Like I think the game itself has to offer the the reason to play it, not just the people in it. Which is why like I really enjoyed Elden Ring, for example, which was like not a social game as well. But if you want to be social, you can be social in Elden Ring too. Let alone there's always discords, there's always streamers in this game, so it's like any single player now is just as social as in any MMORPG. So the social aspect of MMORPGs is really not a big appeal anymore, and I don't think that really matters. But yeah, I digressed extremely hard. The last 5 minutes, you can just so you don't even have to watch it, I guess. But yeah, but thanks for watching, and I really hope Dragonflight will, that the hope of Dragonflight is gonna be worth it. I have my doubts. So far, I don't see any changes big enough to justify the big hope for Dragonflight. But enjoy, I guess. I'm done with this shit. Take care.